All right, so this is our little attempt at our podcast slash training. Okay, so you guys are going to be joining us for this. We have Elisa and Sam.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
And so we are going to let them ask some questions. They're brand new agents, and so we want to kind of get their feel. And the questions they have are going to be questions that you guys will probably have on your guys' end as well. So we'll kind of jump through a couple of these questions and then really take the training on from there. But for starters, say hi.
Hello. Hi, guys.
All right.
They are two brand new Link agents in San Diego, Point Loma. They'll be joining, and kind of, I don't want to say guinea pigs with the mentorship program and with some of the 21-day agent crash course. A lot of what we're going to be building is around you guys. So your guys' insights obviously very valuable to us. And so introduce yourself.
And I'm a little biased. I mean, Samantha, I've known since she's been climbing out of her crib when she was a little one. So anyways, it's cool to have her on board as well as Elisa. So welcome. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to turn the floor over to you guys and really kind of just let you guys take control and ask questions and what is it you want to know or all that fun stuff.
Well, I think it'll also be important for the viewers to know, like, I will be a little bit more part-time. I'm also a nurse, so part of my challenges will be figuring out how to navigate both my nursing career and real estate, whereas Elisa will be more full-time, so I think it'll be nice for people to see the difference.
Yes, definitely. We might have different questions just solely based on that too.
Sure, absolutely.
Because I have quit my 9-to-5 and just put all my eggs into the basket of real estate. So
yeah, so you have to succeed.
Have to.
Perfect.
On that, really quick, Craig, do you recommend people jumping in full time or staying part time? That's one of the biggest questions I always get. People say I have a great job, I make X amount, and I'm not ready to give that up. Do you think it's worth it to go in part time, and if possible, jump in full time, or how do you feel about that?
It's hard to be part time. And it depends on your situation. So if you're doing this part-time forever, that's one thing. You're just doing this as like a hobby or a additional income stream or something like that, that's cool. If you're trying to transition from a full-time job to a, trying to transition from a full-time job to real estate, going part-time is hard. So that's no joke. But if you're wanting to do both no matter what, then screw it. It is what it is, Different goals, different structures, different systems, totally different game plan. And so we can kind of go through both game plans, but ultimately it is definitely hard to do it part-time. So just.
Okay, so that would kind of lead into my first question
Sure.
then. So I work mostly weekends, so that's why I got into real estate, because a lot of my weekdays are open.
Sweet. It's just to be just the opposite.
Yeah, right? So I've noticed a lot of open houses are on the weekends, so I can't really participate in those. What other things could I be doing to be putting myself out there to get a potential client?
All right. So here's the one good thing about being a nurse or being in a different field, either prior to or during this transition, is you have a sphere of influence or a database or colleagues or people that are looking at buying homes anyway. So you take advantage of take advantage of your clients. Take advantage of those that you work with, those that you work for. Build your sphere of influence around your current friends, family, and your past. I know Elisa's been in modeling for however many years, right? Tap into that industry, right? So you want to build your sphere around anyone and everyone. So being that you're brand new, being that you're gonna be part-time, being that your open house world is gonna be difficult because you work on the weekends, there are a bunch of different avenues to get new clients, and that's good and bad. Is there's so much now. Like when I got started, I had nothing. Like we didn't have internet, right? That's how old I am. The internet was literally brand new. There was no social media. There was nothing. So it was like sink or swim. And for me, luckily, I came from an area that my entire business was sphere of influence, right? So easy. If you don't have that, our industry is all about having conversations. So how do you get conversations? And so if you're, Josh spoke about it a little bit. So if you guys are open to doing cold calls or door knocking or open houses on a weekday, evenings, right? Have your little mimosa Monday night open houses or whatever, right? You're coming from an area down in San Diego, Yes, most of Mondays, right? Have your open house
Wine
on Monday.
Wednesday, most of Monday.
Whatever. Just find your own little plan, right? And no matter what that plan is, it's all about consistency. So if you're doing something on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, then do it consistently on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't care if you're working 3 days a week or 4 or 7, just do it consistently. Because if you're doing 3 days a week consistently, you're going to be doing more than the agent that jumps in doing it full time and doesn't have a plan, right? So whatever your plan that you make for yourself, just be consistent and have conversations around real estate. If it starts in nursing, it starts in nursing. Oh, and by the way, I'm also a realtor, right? Yeah.
Okay. How long would you suggest working on like a certain avenue?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, let's say I'm like, do Wine Wednesdays on open houses or,
forever.
Whatever. Forever?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. So the biggest problem that agents face is they try something and it doesn't work, and they shift something else and it doesn't work. They shift something else and it doesn't work because they don't put the time in, right? So if you are doing something that takes time to build, let it build, right? You can't just bake a cake in 2 hours. Right. Can you?
Yeah.
You can. And
I mean, from start to finish, like putting the ingredients together, you got to let making bread, maybe a better analogy. You got to let it sit.
Sourdough
right?
bread.
And let it kind of marinate.
I think
to build traction.
Fine wine takes time.
Something like that. I was getting somewhere. You knew where I was going. Yeah.
I'm going to kind of counter you a tiny bit on that.
Please. Try it. You're 8, but go ahead.
You could be looking at different things. It's not just like, is Wine Wednesday working? Am I closing houses? It might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 before you actually consistently close houses.
If it takes 3 years, then get out of the business.
Yeah. Okay. If you're doing Wine Wednesday every Wednesday, nobody's showing up, maybe you need to change it or tweak something within it. You could look at like smaller KPIs within a lead gen strategy to see if it's going the right way. If you're running meta ads and every single person you call, the phone disconnects because it's a fake phone number, maybe you need to make it harder for somebody to fill out that instant form. It's not just looking at, is this lead avenue working because I'm closing deals? It could be, how many conversations am I having? How many qualified leads am I actually getting? How many people are actually expressing interest, or my conversations mainly? So it's not just like, is this working because I closed a deal? It could be other KPIs that you're tracking.
Technically speaking.
Right. Don't want to give him too much credit. Technically.
So, and I'll kind of elaborate to you, because it doesn't matter what, I guess, you do choose for your lead gen strategy. It's all about conversations. And so whatever is going to get you the most conversations is what you should do, and then build upon that, right? So if you are doing your little, call it Wednesday open house or whatever you're going to do it well, right? Not just do it consistently, do it well consistently. And so there's a whole training that you have on, or a bunch of things you can do for open houses versus training on social media versus training on cold calling versus training on sphere of influence. Whatever you do it. Okay. Right? Do it right. What?
And as you're going through, like, sometimes it's not changing the lead gen strategy, it's tweaking one part of it. So maybe your open houses are sucking. Have you tried server prospecting?
Because you suck. You know what I mean? Change your game.
Change your game. It might just be changing the outreach. Like, are you inviting people? Are you door knocking before? Are you server prospecting before? Are you sending texts, emails? Sometimes like a small tweak like that isn't changing the like lead gen strategy at its core, but just how are you getting people in the door, and it can make the biggest difference. Right. And so it's really about refining as small as what text are you sending? What's the email subject going to be? What's getting people to open those emails? Like, when you get like really look at it under a microscope, there's a million different ways you could kind of slice any type of lead gen strategy. And like you were saying, most people come in and they do 2 open houses, and instead of saying, how can I change getting people there, they say, okay, I'm going to do cold calling, and then that's not working, and then they're going to do meta ads and their ad sucks, or their way they're converting that lead sucks, or the drip campaign sucks. And instead of really looking in on what they're doing and how they can optimize it, they'll just give up and try something new and then wonder why it never works. Some stuff we've been working on 12 months, 18 months that we're like consistently changing the campaign with, they're just now really like showing promise. But it takes time sometimes.
Yeah. And this kind of lends to a bunch of different systems built into one, because if you are doing open houses, that leads to door knocking, because if you do have an area that you're sitting an open house in, you can door knock, 30 houses around this house, and you're not just doing it blindly, you're doing it with a purpose, right? So you could have a little gift. Hey, we're having an open house. I want to invite you to the open house, just to come check it out. And oh, by the way, do you have any friends moving to the area? And when do you plan on selling your house? So you can kind of take that open house and then kind of compound that by door knocking, right? And then compound that by doing texts and emails or phone calls or whatever. Just compound that strategy with different tactics.
It made sense.
Yeah,
it did.
Yeah,
okay. It made sense to me. That was a simple question, right?
Yeah,
all right,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was being serious.
I did. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's like you've done this for a long time or something.
I know. Can you tell? I don't know. Yeah. And I'm different. Like my whole career was built off of like one thing, and that was like what Josh was saying earlier about like having his pie giveaway, right? Like my mom was like the queen of that. She gave every month, gave something away. Didn't have drawings or whatever, but she just literally gave something of value to her database for 30 plus years. And that was how I learned, right? Do well by your clients and then they'll do well by you. But hard starting out. So
a few questions came up on the top of my head.
Sure.
So one of them being, you said staying on top of, one of them was market trends. How do you suggest a new real estate agent to stay on top of market trends? Second one, different area, but where would you suggest we draw the line for difficult clients? Do you suggest we just take them anyway since we're new? How do you deal with difficult?
Take them all. Yeah, I mean, the longer you're in the business, you'll kind of fine tune who you want to work with, and they'll find you, right? Back to energy and vibration. You're going to put out a certain vibe that's going to attract a certain client. In my mind, right? I tend to work with people that I like. It's not by accident. That's just who I am, right? They're going to work with me because they want to work with this guy, right? And they're going to work with you because they want to work with you, so on, right? And it's a different world. And so getting to that point, though, as far as what do you do to get market knowledge, MLS is your friend, right? So put yourself in a buyer's shoes or a seller's shoes. Go out and look at property, know your market. If you're working in San Diego, go know that market backwards and forwards, right? Know what's happening, know what's new, newly active, know what's recently sold, know days on market, know price per square foot, know what area over here is selling versus this area. I guess just know that part. You don't need to know so much like national news, but you're be like the area specialist, and it just takes time to really just ingrain yourself into that market, right? Like I was telling you, if you wanted to go out and like look at property, right? I'd show you around like you guys are buyers. Show you how I talk to you guys as a buyer, leading questions to ask. Getting started is difficult because you guys are going to come at this kind of scared, right? Like, holy shit, I have a buyer. Now what? Like, I'm going to show you property. I don't even know what I'm looking at. So, yeah, I dive in deeply with understanding your market and questions buyers are going to have, right? Talk to, I don't know who you're going to use for lender. I'd like to use Link, but obviously Kim is might be a go-to for you. I don't know, but I'll push you to use Link. But with that being said, know some terminology when it comes to loans. You don't need to like pre-qual that buyer, but you're going to want to know how to lead that conversation, right? Know kind of what to ask and when to ask it and how to direct it. But
how do you suggest we learn to ask those questions?
Time. Yeah. So like I was saying, if I come down and I can show you property in Cane Lake, you know it pretty well. I can kind of lead you that way pretty easily. I don't know San Diego. I could probably learn it pretty quickly, and I'll show you how I learn it, and then just follow that, right? But really, it's just you do it yourself. You can go out in the MLS and go look at property, right? Just call that agent up and go, "Hey, I have a
vacant
buyer."
Properties. Don't make the owner leave the house.
Or just explain to them what you're doing. Just tell them that you have a buyer in the area and you're previewing some property and you want to get an idea of what you're going to show them. Most agents are going to be cool with that, right? Or you can even do content, right? Hey, I have some buyers in this area. I want to send some videos. Are you cool if I come by and film some content, right? And then as you're doing this, you're going to get to know what's out there. Have your hot sheet tell you what's new, what's coming, and what's sold. And just know that shit.
Open houses. Walk-in open houses. I think you went last week and talked to the agents. how's traffic been? Are you getting a ton of people? Or do you have any offers on the table? If you go to 20 open houses in one zip code and nobody has offers and nobody has any buyers, probably not the best market for the seller right now. If everybody's like, oh, we have multiple offers, we're sending out multiples, you probably need to come in pretty high over asking price. And that's just being around it. You talk about like mortgages and escrow and terminology.
Rates.
Talk to your loan officer, talk to your escrow officer, call and say, hey, I'm brand new. What do you need from a buyer before you can pre-approve them? Like what questions would be helpful for you to pre-approve my person? Just being around it, calling. Most agents like get scared and they don't want to call their loan officer, call their escrow officer, call a mentor, call whoever, and ask the questions. And so they go and they look it up online or don't, just let it kind of die. So don't be afraid to call people, ask questions. People want to help people.
Well, and today's day and age with YouTube, with Chat GPT, I mean, I know you guys just Google some questions or what you can edit that out, or you can look at that, right? So don't depend heavily, or I shouldn't say heavily, don't depend fully on that, on Chat GPT or on certain things, but it's helpful, right? They're going to have a lot of information. And so if you have a question, YouTube is huge, right? They have all kinds of things on how to do open houses. They have all kinds of cold calling scripts. They have all kinds of different marketing strategies. I mean, if you have time, watch that, learn it, or ask, What was the question? I forgot the question.
How do you keep up with market trends
and then dealing with difficult
hard clients?
Oh, yeah.
I take every client.
Take them all, and then just
learning experience.
Totally. Yeah.
Especially starting out. If you're doing like 75 deals a year and you can like
kick them at that point.
Great, but
women. And so this is different, I guess, off topic a little bit, but be careful who does call you, right? Specifically, like, oh, hey, I found this vacant house I want to look at down in Chula Vista. Question that, right? Get your constitutional carry and carry that shit and shoot them in the face.
So when you're hosting an open house and then you're posting the address,
totally,
see my open house,
totally,
and you're standing in a house,
yes, by yourself, yeah.
Do you ever get some people that
interesting characters?
100%.
You should fear your safety.
Yes, and I mean, all jokingly aside, 100%. Like you definitely want to. I mean, if you guys did it together, it would be great, right? Back to your talk about a partnership, we can go through that too. But it wouldn't hurt to have a lender with you, or different for a guy. I mean, I don't see someone coming in to like attack me, but you never know. You never know. And I joke about constitutional carry or your concealed carry permit, but dude, I mean, if I'm by myself and I'm a 27-year-old girl, I'm gonna shoot some motherfuckers.
I have a taser.
No, you want
pepper spray.
You want a 9mm.
Or have like Andrew or I or another agent in the area sit it with you.
You may want to edit that out a little bit. But,
Can you conceal carry in this county?
Yeah.
You can?
For sure. You need a permit, but for sure. Yeah, I would definitely advise to be diligent. You know what I mean? Or cautious, not cautious, but just think things through. Because, I mean, I grew up very naive in a small little bubble. You did too, right? Like, bad things don't happen to us. Well, shit happens, right? Especially down in San Diego. You get some crazy fuckers out there that are just, you don't want them around.
My roommates are always confused in college. Like, why don't you lock the front door? I was like,
I never have. Yeah.
Tucson.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tucson's a little sketchy. Yeah, for sure. So a side note, but I think very important. Even like showing property, same thing. Open house or showing property.
Know who they are.
Know who they are, but I mean, even do a little Facebook searching and check them out. Just be careful.
I have another question.
Sure.
So, I forgot my question. Hold, please. Oh, okay. So, I just forgot it again. Can you cut this?
I fully edit this. that part for sure I'm not editing.
I do have a question for you, old wise one.
Yes.
If you could go back
that's
and
just
do
mean.
anything different.
Just mean. Come on.
Sorry.
I'm 27 at heart.
You definitely are.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You are.
You look like it.
You're still like 8 to me. Yeah, you and Kelsey are just like that. You guys haven't grown up. I just can't get past the ideas are old. But go ahead.
I know, it's weird.
So weird.
If you could go back and change anything that you have done, in your real estate career, what would it be?
Invest earlier.
Invest earlier.
Yeah. So I want to push our agents to go from agents to investors. And so there's a lot of different programs that we're going to be launching right now to compete with wholesalers. And part of that is cash offers. Learn to be investors. And I'd invest a lot more, a lot earlier.
So I would love to invest in property one day. Yeah. As we know, California is super expensive. Would you be open, or would it be smart to invest in another state first, or would it be better to buckle down in California first?
Both. It's hard to invest in other states unless you know that market, right? So if you do have a team, or you develop some contacts in Tennessee or Texas or Idaho, wherever you want to invest in, and you have some, I guess, trusted partners, possibly. But if you know the market in California, yeah, I've only ever been invested in California, so it's hard for me to answer that. I know people that do invest in other states, and they do great, and they have done great. So I would look at just your return on your investment, right? So if it's in California and there's a good return, it doesn't matter where it's at. You probably get higher returns in different states, depending on what it is. If it's single family down by the beach, hard to get a pretty good return on that. But if you go to Sun City, there's good returns there. So just pick your markets accordingly. It doesn't need to be in single family. I'd probably go to commercial quite a lot earlier. Different returns in commercial, not as emotional. Industrial is great. I love the idea of owning businesses that rent your own real estate out. And so if you can get into different things that way, that's convenient and nice. Not easy, but it's definitely cool to own your own business and your own real estate. Kind of fun. Yeah. Okay. Like your own nursing program or something?
I'm starting a staffing agency, but eventually I want to potentially do like a hospice home. So
I know a guy.
You know a guy? Great.
Yeah. I have 4 of them going right now.
Really?
Yeah. Not hospice, but residential living.
Yeah.
So that's a different world that I would definitely explore earlier on, but differently in my world. Again, I grew up in a very small pond, and so I stuck just to my pond. I'd branch out a little more.
Okay.
Too.
If investing or investments are kind of foreign to someone, what is a good way to learn about what's a good investment, what's not a good investment? Like, how do you navigate that if it's kind of just a foreign subject?
Yeah, learn. Yeah.
How do you learn? You learn.
Do your homework. I mean, it doesn't matter. It depends on what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Okay. And so find someone that's been there, someone that's done that, someone that's, again, I hate to go back to YouTube, but there's everything on YouTube. There's in this day and age, there's a coach for everything, right? I have a little bit of knowledge in most of this stuff. You can pick my brain for starters, and then kind of take that and go a different direction. I follow guys like Pace Morby or David Choi or Grant Cardone. I mean, you name it. There's investors all over the place that have already laid the groundwork. You don't need to go out and recreate it, right? It's already there. And so find your niche, find what you want to do, and just follow that. If you're starting out, wholesaling is a big thing right now, right? Get these homes under contract and then flip that contract. That's what to buy homes or do things with no money down. Pace Morby is all about subject to or creative financing. You can get creative with that. He's looking more now into hotels and RV parks and mobile home parks, different states. So you can look into, there's just so much information out there to be had at your fingertips that it's not hard to go out and research that. Yeah. Yeah. Or you just find someone that grows weed, and then you can open a cannabis shop and then own the real estate.
I know a guy.
Or pizza or beer.
I have one more question. Buyers and sellers. Would you say that agents kind of lean towards one or the other, like after being in the business, or are you just kind of need to be good at both?
You need to be good at both first to start out, for sure. because when you become a listing agent, that's going to create buyers no matter what. Okay. And so if you're focusing on listings, that's probably the bread and butter of your career. I mean, that's where I focus my time. And then from those, you start prospecting, open houses, you're going to gain buyers anyways. Right. So I would focus on listings. I mean, starting out, you may have to deal with buyers out of the gate, but I'd focus as early as I possibly can on listings.
I got a third of our deals that we did last year were double-ended buyers. And so you have the listing. There's a handful of different ways you can go do a buyer outreach, like circle prospecting, Google ads, meta ads. But when you control the listing, the buyers just, for some reason, tend to like use you and or ask questions. They think they can get a better deal or one reason or another. They're going to be calling you anyway. So if you could learn how to like convert those into double ends, it's free business. It's just sitting there. You're going to be doing the work anyway. Might as well represent both people.
Awesome. I have one last question.
Don't be the last one. We got all day. What we got?
Okay.
Yeah, keep going.
It's like we got 5 minutes.
Oh, we do? Oh.
So we talked about this a little bit, Kobe, before when we first met, but how would you guys suggest we get clients to trust us as new real estate agents? What are things we can say or do to show that we have like the knowledge and support to be a good agent to them?
I would rely on your team and don't be afraid to say you don't know. So like when I first started, I was sitting in open houses for Craig every single weekend, and people would walk in and I'd be like, oh, I'm absolutely brand new, but I'm on Craig's team and he looks at every contract and I actually do the deals with him. I'm like more like boots on the ground. It kind of served in two purposes. One, they trusted me because I was very upfront and honest that not that I had no idea what I was doing, but that Craig was going to be helping me with a lot of it. And two, they felt like I was going to have a better drive and like really go after it for them. So don't be afraid to say I'm brand new, but here's my team and here's what my team has done and our team's track record. And so I will work harder than most people because I'm brand new and I need the business, but I also have the team behind me to really like make sure you're taken care of as a client as well.
Yeah.
Would you, obviously you haven't been a brand new agent since I was 6 months old, but
it's just mean.
Would you say the same?
Yeah, to a certain extent. I mean, yes, it works for you to be confident, not being confident. And so don't be scared, right? If you come across scared, no one's going to want to work with you. Mm-hmm. So if you're at least confident in what you don't know, sounds weird, but just be conversational about it. People want to help you, right? Even if you are new, they're not going to be mean, right? They're going to be like, oh, this, she's so cute. If it's somebody that's older, like they, think about like a grandparent, right? They want to help their grandkid, right? Their parents' age, they're a parent, they have kids your age, you're somebody your age. People want to be there for you and help you out. So don't be scared to, like he's saying, don't be scared to say you're new, but don't be scared and act scared. Be confident in what you don't know as well. And so you can learn a lot just by doing your own homework and come to the conversation knowing enough that you won't look like you're new. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You don't need to like come out of the gate and say, I don't know shit. You come out with like, what's going on, where rates are, what's happening in the market, you can follow Jerome Powell and spit out some stats, or you follow Housing Wire or the Wall Street Journal, you know some current events and the market. Talk like Josh talked about, 5% more than them, right? In today's day and age, buyers and sellers have a lot of information. Okay. So you have to have more than them, or at least as much or just a little bit more. So when you're talking to them, they know that you know what you're saying, mm-hmm. right? The fake it till you make it. I'm not a big fan of saying fake it till you make it, because you need to know your shit, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you come out of the gate knowing your shit, then you'll be able to have those conversations and say, yeah, I am new, and yeah, we have a big team behind us, and yeah, everything that we do is looked at. But I don't even think you need to go there if you sound confident out of the gate. And very rarely will somebody ask you that. I mean, you guys look young, but they won't come out of the gate and they may ask you, don't need to lie about it, but sound confident and knowledgeable. I wouldn't go like, oh my God, I'm brand new, I don't know what to do.
I didn't say that exactly.
I know not to say I'm only doing this part-time.
Yeah, for sure. And
until they all see this video.
24/7.
Yeah. Yeah. But he had a different answer than I did to your question about being a partner, right? And so partnerships are hard, especially when someone's half-time, part-time, and someone's full-time, right? You guys are, at some point you're going to cross and say, excuse me, I just spilled the camera. But like someone's going to feel resentful because someone's doing more work, right? And then you're coming, we even in someone's doing more of this, more of that, and then at some point your friendship starts to strain. And so I'm a big believer in beginning with the end in mind. Like plan your breakup while you're still happy, right? While you're still friends, because at some point this may not work.
We were actually just talking about that outside when we were waiting for you guys. I was like, I don't know how this is going to work when you're full time and I'm not.
Yeah. So if you guys do things together, cool. If you want to be a team, I'm not going to say don't be a team. I'm just going to say like know the boundaries, know what to expect, set your expectations early. And then again, like if it gets to this point, we're going to call timeout and say, like, we're going to go our separate ways, but set that now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just kind of lay out that game plan accordingly. And I'm not a big fan of, I shouldn't say that. I had a partner for 15 years, right? Yeah. So I wouldn't say it ended badly, but definitely there was some, I guess, probably animosity on both sides. And it's kind of inevitable. I mean, it's going to end at some point, and it's just a matter of how bad it is. You know what I mean?
So I kind of disagree.
Well, you haven't been in the business long enough.
Yeah, maybe I haven't been around for long enough.
You can go to any agency, any team that's broken up, and you're gonna, and yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So like what Andrew and I did is everything was like very clear. We actually wrote it out like as contracts, and we signed contracts with each other, and these are like kind of roles and responsibilities. And we had really hard conversations up front of like, I've had past business and I'm not going to give you 50% of any past business that I've had. And you, same way, you're coming from kind of a private equity background, you're going to have deals that are coming in. We don't feel like that's fair if we're going to split it 50-50. Let's set these boundaries up front. What is fair? Am I going to be involved on deals where you are kind of the procuring cause? Are you going to be involved in deals with me? And am I going to be running the websites and the CRMs? And are you going to be doing open houses, or are we going to do stuff together? Like, I think kind of writing out every potential issue that's going to arise up front and kind of giving people jobs, if you will, is going to help. And then having constant communication. Like there's been times where Andrew's like, oh, you're focused too much on Link. Can we reconvene here, or vice versa? Being open to have those conversations, those hard conversations. And like, usually it could just be, oh shit, I didn't even realize I was doing that. Yeah, my bad. Let's get back on the same page. Because if not, then it's going to just kind of boil up, and it's going to, in a couple of years, it might blow up more. And so I think clear contracts, honestly, like on paper, so you can kind of point back to something, and then just being open with each other. And if it ever got to a point where it's like, we don't want to do this anymore, you guys could still do it under the same kind of brand, team name, whatever it is. And that's why we did Hattrick Real Estate, as well as like, if we ever did split, we could still both just be selling under Hattrick, and it doesn't need to be like tied to me or tied to him. So
when you guys do deals together, do you guys consistently do the same like job of the transaction every time, or is it more so as things come, you guys just both kind of like work on whatever's needed?
As things come, what we typically do is, if I know the person, obviously I am the point person for the contact. If we have a listing that's coming from like a family friend or like a friend of a friend, whoever knows them more will take point on it. If we ever double into deal, one person represents the buyer and one does the seller, and it actually is super helpful so that it's not like I'm dealing with both sides, the seller and the buyer at the same time. And if we're to have 2 or 3 LA deals, maybe he'll take those and I'll take the San Diego one. So it's really case by case. It's not like set in stone. There's been deals where I knew the client prior to, and he's really taken the lead on it, and vice versa. But once again, it's like back to just the open communication, like having those not awkward conversations, but awkward conversations as you're going to, and be like, dude, can you help out here?
So we could still be like under the same team name, but do like
your separate deals. Yeah,
work,
100%.
Would you recommend us doing that rather than being solo new agents, or do you think having a team looks better?
I don't know if a team looks better or worse. If you guys were both just branded Link and did stuff together and did open houses together, like that's just fun. If you guys had a team name itself, I think you kind of could show your brand a bit better. You're going to have to obviously think about then, okay, if you're both sitting in an open house and a buyer walks in, who gets the buyer? And like that, and if you have to cancel the open house last second, but then you do it, is that just your client? Is that just your client? And so when we started getting like really granular with it, that's when we decided here's just 3 big buckets. It's either your client, my client, or our client. And it's worked so far. And I'm not saying that 5 years from now it's going to be all sunshine and butterflies still, but for now it's how it's working. So yeah, just have those conversations.
I love the 2 different sides.
Yeah,
It's
it's good. It's great.
I might say
It's
that
like
in
full
10 years from
that
now.
I totally get from each
Yeah.
side, so.
And
Over time, things are going to get commingled, no
Yeah.
matter what. However you try to split it up,
Yeah.
all those buckets are going to be intertwined eventually, and it's going to be difficult. But
It's good to
you
know.
guys do you.
Yeah, it's good to know.
No, I think we kind of talked a little bit, and obviously, since we're kind of on different scales right now, that it might be best to just like establish ourselves, and we're still going to be helping each other. So,
Yeah.
like, we live together.
Yeah.
So, if I'm hosting an open house and like she wants to come, or vice versa, or whatever,
Yeah.
like I think we're just going to be here helping each other no matter what. But kind of coming out clean slates on each side as far as like establishing ourselves in the industry.
And you could always switch. Like me and Andrew both started. I was already at Link, obviously, when he came over, and he was doing his own kind of deals, and so was I. And then we started commingling stuff, and then decided to. So it's not like it's a line in the sand.
And it's fun. It's fun to have a partner. You know what I mean? And it is to have a team, have someone there to collaborate with and do things with and share costs with and do that. So there is some benefit to it, as long as you know your boundaries.
Yeah, can we share our MLS, or is that not? Am I gonna get in trouble?
No, you'll get in trouble. I mean,
Until you have a listing, then she's gonna want her own MLS
Yeah,
for
and
her
searching.
name,
Oh, that
and
makes-
searching,
yeah,
and
searching
stuff.
and
Sue has actually been kind of going in a little bit about a little bit about everything, but definitely the MLS.
Yeah, those are the details. Yeah,
Like
because
a
then you're gonna
Century
have
Key and Supra.
Yeah.
Yeah. Putting everything. I was like, gosh, when was that system created?
Yeah,
I haven't
the
been
MLS
updated.
takes quite a while, and you need Century Key or Supra depending on where you're going to be at, and so you can't have it on 2 phones, and so you're going to need your MLS anyway for that. So